Hi everybody, it's Ep2 here with another Let's Play video. This is part 2 of my Rust Beginner's Guide. In the first video, the link's up in the corner, we talked about server choice to make sure that your experience is as non-toxic as possible. In this video, we're going to join a server. As I said at the end of the last video, normally you'd pick a server that's got a fair few people on. Not lots, but maybe 20 or 30, just to give you a little bit of interaction. But for the purposes of this video, I'm actually choosing a server that has very few people on it so that I'm not disturbed. Without further ado, I'm going to join the server and I'll meet you on the other side. Right, here we are in Rust. This is the first thing that you will see when you load into a map. It says at the top there, you are sleeping. Press any key to wake up. Before I do that, I'm actually just going to press escape and go into my settings. My options, and I'm just going to censor nudity just in case a few of you are a little bit sensitive. Obviously, if you are a little bit concerned about this, or maybe playing this somewhere that somebody might be looking over your shoulder, censor nudity is probably quite a good idea, seeing as a lot of people do run around naked. So we're going to come straight back out of this. All the graphics and things can be sorted out in the first menu even before you open the game. So I won't go into that because obviously you'll be able to do that appropriate to your hardware. So press spacebar and you will wake up. Here I am on my beach. Now you will start, oh it's a big rock, you will start on a beach. You might start somewhere way away from any of your friends, and your job is essentially to survive. So there are three key things to survival. That is access to warmth, so shelter, and food and drink. So we need to make sure we get those things done first. To help us do that, we have a few key materials available to us. In the bottom right, we have the green bar, which is our health, the blue bar, which is our thirst, and the orange bar, which is our food. Now you'll notice they are not full. When you respawn your character, if you die, they will not be full, and you need to make sure that you can fill them. In the bottom of the screen, I'll try and move it away so you can see it. That's better against the blue. You'll see that you have a rock and a flaming torch. That is your quick menu, and they can be accessed through the numbers 1 to 6. So if I press 1, here is my trusty rock. If you hold G, you'll have a map. You must hold it, and then you can use your right mouse button to sort of click and drag yourself around and zoom in and out. This is our map. As I said in the last video, these maps are procedurally generated, so there's no guarantee that you will have a similar or same map in any other servers. Now, if you Google Rust maps, you will be able to find various websites that give you access to maps, so you can have them active on your iPad just for your reference if you need to. But I've never felt I've needed to do this because the map on here is pretty good. There are a few basics of the map to understand in terms of what's on it. You have different biomes, so you can see we've got desert over here, we have grassland and forests, and we also have snow. Each one of those come with their own risks. Snow is cold, desert is hot. So if you are not equipped effectively, you will notice that needs will crop up above your health bar in the bottom right here. Maybe too hot, maybe too cold. If we zoom in, you might see a few named locations: lighthouse, harbour, mining outpost, abandoned supermarkets. You'll also find roads and rivers. These are important because named locations and roads will give you access to crates and barrels that you can smash open for things like scrap and other components. Scrap will be important in the future because you'll need it to be able to research and create different tools. Rivers are important because often that is where food will grow. Clearly then, locating a house is going to be based on what other things are around us. Nearby to us, we have quite a few different monuments, as they're called, or named locations. We are here, right there on that little orange dot. My first task, because I need to make sure I can get some food, is to head over to this river. And you'll also notice we're going to be near this abandoned supermarket, near a lighthouse, near a harbour, near a mining outpost. And so somewhere over here might be quite a good place to settle or start a base. So I'm going to let go of G. Here we are. And I'm going to start walking. Very basic first person controls. Hold shift to sprint. and then we'll run our way down the beach. So we've just run down the beach just a little bit here, and we have come across a few hemp plants and some trees. Now, if we press 1 to get our stone, we'll be able to gather wood and rocks, but we do not need to use our stone to gather hemp. Hemp's useful because it gives you cloth and hemp seeds. The cloth is useful, the hemp seeds are not, so you can replant those and they will grow. So other players can come along and they can find those hemp plants once they've grown back. Cloth's important because you can make clothes and you can also make various weapons and tools. If we get our stone out, we're going to attack some trees here. Ooh, and we've got a stone node. We'll get onto that in a second. If you hit the tree, you will find a red X. Hit the red X each time. And so long as you hit the red X, your resource gathering will go up steadily as you go. If you're using a tool like a hatchet of any kind, the red X will also increase the amount that you gather, and it can be really, really significant, especially if you have like a metal hatchet and you can be gathering 20 wood at a time really, really easily. So we've gathered some wood. I'm going to get another bit of wood here. Do you hear that? As you hear the tree creaking, you know that it's getting close to falling down. Now, if you're in a really high population area, as we're not, but if you were and you start hearing that tree creaking and you can hear footsteps, it might be worth not breaking down that tree, because once it falls, everyone will hear it, everybody will see it. Because there's nobody else on the server, we're pretty free to do as we please, so I'm not too worried about keeping an eye out. We can just run around and get as many trees as we need to for the purposes of demonstrating. This is a stone node. There are 3 types of rock that you can harvest. There's sulfur, metal and stone. Stone is used for building, sulfur and metal also used for various building but crafting as well. Like the red X on the tree, you've got a little starry glint. Hit that glint. Sometimes you might have to jump on top onto the rock or crouch next to it to be able to hit it, but as long as you hit it, your gathering will be more effective. So I missed it there, so I tend to jump on it, and then I can't miss it. Okay, so to check out what we've just harvested, we can press tab and open our inventory. So you can see we've censored us, we're completely naked here. We haven't got any clothes or anything like that yet, but we do have 20 cloth, 500 wood and 375 stone. Resources are stackable, but weapons and tools such as this stone hatchet are not stackable, so they obviously take up more spots in your inventory. Depending on where you are and how busy the population of the server is, you might want to prioritise various things to craft. So firstly, you could prioritise tools such as the stone hatchet or the stone pickaxe. Obviously they have a cost, and that can be found if you go up into the crafting menu, which we'll get into a little bit later. It might be that if you're in a high population server and there are lots of people around, that you prioritise getting yourself a bow or perhaps a wooden spear to be able to protect yourself in the event of encountering another player who turns out to be hostile. If you want to, you can prioritise building, in which case we would probably prioritise getting a hatchet or a pickaxe first, so we can gather lots of stuff really quickly, but then we'd need to have a hammer and a building plan, both of which are required for building. So for the purposes of this video, I'm actually going to craft a stone hatchet and a pickaxe here. You'll notice that they use up quite a lot of my resources. By clicking crafting here, it shows you our crafting queue, and also if we click in tools, it tells us how much they cost. So the pickaxe costs 200 wood and 100 stones, the hatchet's similar. In the bottom right, it tells me how long it's going to take until that crafts. So we've got 4 seconds before that stone hatchet is crafted, and it will come straight into our quick menu as it is here. Whilst we're waiting for our stone pickaxe to build, I'm just going to nip up and grab a few trees, and then I think I'm going to make my way over to that river, and I'll probably see you in a moment. Right everybody, welcome back. I've made my way around the bay a little bit and inland. As you can see in my inventory, I've got quite a little bit, well I say a little bit, I've got quite a bit of stuff that I've just harvested in the last 2 or 3 minutes, just from various stone nodes, and I also found a metal node as well. So it is worth grabbing everything that you can. Metal is probably a priority over sulfur at this point, so the darker browny reddish nodes over the yellowy ones. You'll notice in the bottom right my food is getting very, very low and it's saying that I'm starving. This is likely going to be a problem that you'll face right at the start of the game, and it could be a bit of a frustration if you didn't know what to do. Now, because it's dark, I pulled out my torch and I right click to light it. As I'm naked, I don't really mind because people shouldn't really attack me, but they probably still will. Obviously it draws attention to yourself, so try not to use your torch too much. This is a fairly moonlit night, so running around the bay was fairly easy, but heading inland to find food was a bit more tricky. A few various items you can use for food. Mushrooms are a great one. So whenever you're in a foresty area, you can grab mushrooms and then you can whack them into your inventory and then press the number, so it's 6 there to eat them. You can also go into tab, click on it and then click eat. Mushrooms are really good actually because they have lots of different benefits rather than just calories, so that's pretty handy. I'm going to head my way back to the bay here and see if we can find that river, because rivers often have a lot more rivers often have a lot more food around them. So I'll see you in a second. Okay, so we've run around and we've found the river. This is good. Now when you get to a river, you'll often be able to see pumpkins and corn. So here I've just found some corn, so I'm going to grab that. Also found some pumpkins. Looking good. Ooh, some more corn, some more pumpkins. Oh, that made me jump, that did. So we can now eat all of these, and that's going to sort us out. So you'll notice that our calories are going way up, our food is now full, and our drink is pretty much full as well. So this will heal us up to full health. Don't forget, whack those seeds into there because you don't really need them for anything else, and you can just... In the distance you can hear a helicopter. At this point you don't need to worry about the helicopter, just remember to stay out of its way if you have a weapon in these hotkeys. So to be safe, I'm going to whack these in there. As I'm naked and I have no weapons in my inventory, it should leave me alone. But we're going to explore this area a little bit. So the next thing on our agenda is to build a base, and that is going to be the topic of our next video. So thank you so much for watching. The link to the previous video about servers is just going up in the corner now, and you can just let this play, and in the playlist should take over for video 3 of our beginner's guide to Rust. Okay, thank you so much for watching. Drop it a like, do give me any comments if you've got any questions or if you've got any tips that might help new players. Drop them in the comments below, and please don't forget to subscribe. But we will see you on the next episode in just a second. See you there.